Hi guys, and welcome back to Drea Talks. My name is Dre, in case you didn't know, but if you do, then you do. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has shown me nothing but love, support, who has liked, shared, comment, and viewed my last story, my Instagram, my TikTok. It is Andrea G underscore XX, just like my regular Instagram, but you guys, I will change it to Drea Talks, but please, thank you, continue to follow, like, and everything. I do want to say that I did get a couple DMs and a couple thank yous for the, mental health talk that I was having. I didn't expect a thank you. I guess for bringing it up to light. I don't think that it was like this thing that was like hidden. I don't think that we talk about it enough, but it is always out there. I do want to say that for anyone dealing with mental health, from one survivor to another, keep surviving. It does get better, and I know it's easier said than done, but it does get better. Okay, and as long as you keep trying day in and day out, you guys will, make it another day. And if you guys ever need somebody to talk to or just be there for you or listen, I'm here. You guys know how I am. Most of you guys know how I get. So it's all love, peace, and chicken grease on my end. I hope you guys, continue to thrive. So this week I kind of wanted to like follow up on what we were talking about last week with mental health. I know that talking about your mental health is never easy. It is a lot. You know, I'm just so proud when the community gathers and supports one another. You know, to be quite honest, like I say all the time, like when I say from one survivor to another, I completely mean that. We're all learning, we're all trying, we're all figuring life out right now. And sometimes it's life just life's, okay? And as long as we treat one another with respect and love and, you know, give each other some grace, I think that we're all gonna be okay. All right. So I've been, trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about for a while. Okay. I tried to talk about co-parenting. I tried to talk about expectations, loving yourself, all this stuff. Like I have like this whole thing, like just notes with bajillion things, right? But you want to know the truth? Okay. The only thing that's running through my mind right now is what is going on in Patterson. And you know what? This might be a little too touchy, and I don't know if I'm, throwing gasoline on the fire or whatever. But yeah, I'm kind of pissed off. Okay? I'm not even gonna lie. I'm kind of pissed off. I'm scared. I'm hurt. I am disgusted. I don't even know. Okay? I'm literally like, my legs shaking. Okay? It's 2 in the morning, and I've been thinking about this every single day. And it's just crazy to me how unsafe it is to go outside right now. How disgustingly unsafe and scared I am to have my siblings and my nieces and my nephews and my child and my family go outside and not know if they're gonna come back tomorrow. And you should all be ashamed, including myself, okay? Because you know what? As a community, we all have to take responsibility when something is happening in our community, right? Needless to say, I no longer reside in Patterson, right? But I am a proud Pattersonian, and I mean this wholeheartedly, okay? Where I came from does not define me. Where you come from does not define you. Okay, how far you will go, how big you will make it is not defined from where you come from. It's how hard you work. Okay, but that doesn't take away from your original home. Okay? So for the past couple of days on like Facebook and Instagram and stuff, I've seen, I want to say like 4 or 5 people dead, shot. Kids, bro. Kids, children. 24, 23, 25, 28. And granted, I am 30, so they're not, you know, that they're not children, but they're kids. Like we're adults, but like I'm a kid. Okay? Like I do not feel like a viejita, right? So to me, I'm like, bro, like these are people that just jumped off the porch. Like they just came outside, and it's not 5 minutes into being hot outside and people are getting shot dead in the middle of the street. Like it's just every year it's getting so much worse. It's terrifying. Okay? We've seen little girls get shot going to a store. We've seen people get murdered in cars, you know, driving the wrong car. We've seen people get targeted because of who their family is. We've seen a joke get taken out of concept. We've seen people so much maliciously harm children, hurt them, unalive them. Like, what world are we freaking living in right now? Let's be completely honest. And it's not just Patterson, okay? It's the whole freaking world. It's the whole world. Okay? It could be if you're from Newark, from Trenton, from Iran, from wherever you, whichever freaking borough, whichever boat you take to go there. Okay? Do you know the amount of funerals that people are going to? Do you know the amount of money that funeral homes are making? They probably, you know what? For the way people are, start investing in the funeral homes. You will be a millionaire. Like, you have to literally stay away from your home, from what you knew growing up, from what you're used to, from your environment, what feels like home to you. You have to literally stay away from there to live. And it's terrible. I literally posted the other day on Facebook, like a day or two ago. I was like, y'all need to stop asking me when I'm coming back outside or when I'm coming to visit. Like, I'm trying to survive. I got a kid to live for. And I meant that wholeheartedly. I do not, by any means necessary, expect me to go anywhere where you guys are playing with guns, like if they're water balloons, or like, I don't know, we're playing freaking manhunt outside and you guys are just going around shooting people all willy-nilly. I'm not doing that. I need to survive for I like to live. Okay, I enjoy breathing air. I enjoy driving my car and seeing the sun. I enjoy going to work. I enjoy seeing my kid. I enjoy hearing I love you. I enjoy hearing myself talk. Okay? No. I'm not going anywhere. Don't invite me. I'm not going. And you know what's crazy is every year it's getting like worse and worse. And I am just so like, when I promise you that, when I tell people that I have more faith than fear, I mean that, okay? I could never, ever stop thanking my God for getting me out of situations where I could have been harmed so bad, okay? I could have left my child to be raised by her father alone or by the state. It's just, you know, sometimes we don't think about the after when we're putting ourselves in these positions, right? We want to be outside. We want to be in the clubs. We want to be in the middle of a block chilling. We want to this. We want, first of all, we're at the age, honey, and don't clock me, okay? Because I'm going to clock myself. Because I've been there, done that. personally, but you get out of that. You learn that that's not who you want to be anyway. I think when you're growing up and you're maturing, that's how you think about it. That's what you want to be, right? Eventually. But you know what? I only got a PhD in talking crap. I don't know about nothing else, right? But you know, you want to be outside and like, we're old, we're grown. Go home, shower, go work out, go read a book, go out with your friends, have a brunch or whatever, and do all the good stuff. But like, go home. Like, you Rogers out here, y'all need to get it together, because the way that life is lifing right now and the way stuff is, no, everybody is a free game. Okay? And the last thing I ever want to hear is someone close to me like taken from me way too early. Like, I pray so much for my family and my nieces and my nephews and my brothers, and I am so grateful that my brothers are not those type of kids that are like outside chilling in the middle of the hood and stuff like that. Like, they're very like, you know, they like to play soccer and do their little stuff, and then they'll go home. They're very like in-home people. Like, I couldn't imagine how a sister would feel listening to, you know, God forbid, something happening to her sibling. You get me? Or how a child feels hearing that they no longer get to see their parent. Or how a mother feels saying she never gets to see her child again. Like, Jesus, please protect us all. Because I would be just like, if I was ever put in the situation where like I had to continue moving forward and my child was not there to move forward with me until it was my God-given right to go, right, by Jesus's choice, the good way, I wouldn't even be able to survive. I wouldn't be able to move forward. I don't think that I have the emotional capability for that. And it's crazy to me how strong that some of you guys are, because I just couldn't ever imagine doing that. Okay? I couldn't imagine explaining to my child that her dad chose to be outside in the middle of a war, in the middle of, you know, F crap outside, like, and just instead of coming home, they decide to go outside, and now they're no longer coming home. Do you know how heartbreaking it is to watch a child cry, wanting, expressing that they want their dad or their mom, and they can't come back anymore? Do you know how many, I've lost so many friends to violence that it's just, like, I'm not even sad about it anymore. Like, I'm just angry. Like, 2 years ago, I lost, like, the cherry on top for me was losing one of my childhood friends. And at first, I feel like everybody was like, oh, R.I.P., 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 right? And then slowly, people forgot. And that's the sad reality. You know, and there's people that still, you know, live his name, and, you know, he's for me will always be such a big impact. He's helped me in ways that, you know, I wouldn't be able to explain to people. He's, you know, he's been there for people, and I've heard stories, and, you know, just the amount of love that he poured onto others, and the amount of love that others poured onto him just because of the type of person he was, is just something that the world needed. And because of somebody else's selfish, disgusting, ruthless actions, he's no longer here. Like, his children have to live with that. Like, his children have to fucking have to live with that. Like, I couldn't explain. I would not be. I don't know. And you know what? Like, baby Jesus never put me in the position because I wouldn't. Like, imagine taking your kid out of your building in the morning and you're walking them to school, and then you see yellow line taped up all over and a bunch of cops and detectives and a dead body on the floor. Imagine your child looking at that at 5 or 6 years old, coming out of a building and not even being fazed by it, to be honest, because they hear it, they're around it, that's their environment, they're used to it. My daughter would flip out. She would freak out, dude. She would literally lose her mind. Like, she would cry. She will whatever, and she doesn't even know the person. Like, because that's how emotional she is, right? Now, like, does it not disgust anybody that this is how, like, I don't understand why this is, like, not a bigger deal. Let's be realistic. If you have beef with somebody, why can't y'all do it the old way, right? Like, you know, duke it out in the middle of the street, one-on-one, it is what it is. Like, what makes you think? What gives you the God-forsaken right to think that you are a God and that you get to take the life of somebody else that you didn't even give them? Like, how dare you? How dare you sit there and how could you sleep with yourself? How could you, like, does it not eat you up? Does it not burn a hole inside you? Do you think that for whatever reason that you won this, it's a battle. It ain't the whole war. It's not. There's people out here that are putting themselves out there like they're willing to be put on a shirt for stuff that doesn't even matter. Stuff that should have started and ended with who it started and ended with. Like, you don't take the claim for nobody else. You don't, like, I am sorry, and I don't care how it looks to whoever. Like, I would be damned if I'm sitting here taking the heat for somebody else and, you know, unaliving somebody for somebody else's beef or whatever, or for my own selfish reasons. I would never hate somebody that much. You can never hate somebody that much that you try to play God on earth. Like, karma isn't going to come around and spin the block. Like, it's disgusting. I literally just, I'm like so sad. Like, the anger and the sadness, like, go hand in hand. Like, I just don't understand how this is, like, not a bigger deal. I don't understand how, like, people are not, like, freaking out. Or they're not, like, you know, y'all go to City Hall for worse. Right? Because worse to y'all is a pothole on River Street, or Andre Saya not taking, you know, the garbage out. That's worse than somebody getting murdered in cold blood on 12th. That to me is flabbergasting in itself. Okay? The fact that you guys care about, like, y'all pick and choose what you guys want to care about. Right? And then, you know, you guys are, you know, if people are disappearing, or if people are, you know, being unalived, y'all are quick to, oh, where's the cops? Where are the cops? Blah, 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 all of this stuff. And then the moment where you need to hold on, and the moment you need to, you know, give them their time to work, all of a sudden it's, oh, they suck. You know, y'all have so much energy to argue with the officers that are saving your lives. You have so much energy for the officers who are showing up to the DVs, showing up to look at those bodies, showing up to take care of the business, showing up in general for anything. You have so much energy with them, but not energy with the people who just unalived your little cousin or just unalived your brother, just unalived your son, right? It's always the cops' fault some way. But the moment that something personally happens to you and you need help, who's the first person you guys call? Crickets. Crickets. Right? Like, if y'all are so gung-ho about, police are not doing their job and not doing this, and look at what's happening and people are still dying, and look at the mayor, and move to a different city. Because the last time I checked, this has always been it's gotten worse, but this has always been the story. Okay? If it's so bad, if you don't like the cops so bad, do not call them the next time that you have an issue. The next time the Dominicans are being loud with their music, right? The next time one of the boulevards or one of the Avs are sitting there, going crazy, don't call the cops. Let them handle it the way they handle them, right? Because that's the answer, right? You guys are taking out your anger on stuff that doesn't even make sense. You take your anger out on one another, but God forbid somebody else does it, then it's an uproar, right? You take your anger out on the cops because they're trying to protect you, but because it's not going fast enough or going the way you want, then they're pieces of crap. You still call them though. You guys are taking it out on your financial situation, taking it out on your living situation. You're just taking it out on everything, your freaking anger, okay? Go to therapy. Figure out what's wrong. We cannot afford for more people to be gone. We cannot afford for more broken hearts. When are people going to get angry? When are people going to get angry for the right reason? Not to maliciously hurt one another with intent. To intentionally gather together and try to figure out what's going on. Don't you guys want to live in a world where you can walk to the store in peace? It's going to get hot outside. You guys have to stay inside, bro. I saw this post where a couple people were posting like, oh, if I were you, I'd stay inside. Oh, stay inside. And you know why? Because everything is happening outside right now. You want to go outside? You want to be all cute? You want to be all, let's go back to the block. Let's chill. All this stuff. Just remember that the consequences of your actions are your actions. Right? If you know that there are chances that in the area that you're going to be around, it's dangerous, then don't go there. If you know that you're going to be in an area where you can get harmed, where you can get hurt, where, you can get caught up in the middle of something and it has nothing to do with it, do not be there. Right? It's always the cop wasn't even listening to me. I wasn't even there. It had nothing to do with me. I was just Well, who told you to be there? Because in the court of law, oh, honey, you are just as guilty seeing someone do something and not stopping it, if not worse. Okay? And correct me if I'm mistaken, right? Because I'm not an attorney, right? But I'm pretty sure you get just as in trouble or, even worse if you're around it and you don't stop it. Okay? So think about that the next time you're around. Oh no, I'm just saying, no. Okay? I've been put in so many situations where I know it's by God's grace that I am safe and protected and out of harm's way. And I've never been put in a extremely, dangerous situation where I had to run for my life, right? But I have been put in situations where I've had to you know, figure it out. Figure stuff out. They, try to survive. Okay? Like I've been put in situations where I'm literally at a walking distance from a situation happening. Like, and when I first had Sky, I wasn't worried about that stuff, right? I was in a different place. When I left her dad, I went back to where I'm from, okay? If you know, you know, and if you don't, well, I don't really claim it anymore. Because I feel like claiming all that stuff or whatever, like that's very just childish, that's ghetto, I'm not that person anymore, okay? So we're leaving that person on that block, okay? But, I went back over there to try to, I say this to a lot of people, right? I was trying to figure out if the person I was after I left Sky's dad was that person that was on that block when he met me, right? And then I quickly realized, hell no. Not me at all, right? I kept putting myself at this grown age, not this grown age, a couple years ago, that grown age, in situations where I was like, but why do things keep happening to me? Why, why am I getting hurt? Why are my friends around me passing? Why are just things just happening the way they are? And then I realized the only person I had to blame was myself. Okay, I kept putting myself in positions where I was getting close enough to people knowing that they were outside, putting themselves in situations that God forbid something happened, and it did, and I ended up being completely heartbroken by one of my friends. Okay, and it's not a new thing to me being around, like hearing of people passing and stuff like that. It's just, it gets tiring. Like, is nobody else tired of, scrolling on Facebook and seeing RIP this person, RIP that person? Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get them back. Oh, free this person. First of all, hold on. Let me tell you something. Right? No, can't curse. They do not deserve to be free. And I don't care who feels some type of way. If a person took somebody's life, they do not deserve to be free. They deserve to be in the same position that they left the other person in, to be quite frank. Okay? They do not deserve to sit here and live their life as if they didn't take one. As if they're a walking God. How dare you sit there? I don't care who it is, right? It could be my own child. But the moment my child decides to act like she's God walking around here, and she makes a decision that harms another person or takes another person's life, I will be the first one to rile her ass up and say, lock her ass up, throw away the key. Because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I don't care who feels some type of way about it. The people that keep supporting these animals, because that's what they are, right? You act like an animal, you get thrown in a cage, right? So when you go to jail, you get thrown in a cage, right? So that's exactly what's happening, right? And not to say that anybody else in jail is an animal, because situations happen and things happen and surviving happens, okay? And I am very aware of that, because do not let the bouge fool you. I'm from the hood too, okay? We've been there, done that, right? But in those situations where people are trying to survive, and I mean, going out there in pharmaceuticals and all of this stuff, they're trying to survive for a different purpose. They're not out here trying to act like God, right? If they're trying to sit here and get out of a place and possibly harm somebody else, they need to stay in there. I wholeheartedly believe that if people have proof, like if you get charged guilty, I'm not saying if everybody's innocent until proven guilty. I'm saying if you got charged and you're guilty for something and there's proof, and I see somebody else say free you, I'm going to delete that person. I'm going to unfriend that person. I will never talk to that person again, because your morality shows that you are the type of person to support animal behavior. Simple. Why would I want to be friends with somebody who supports somebody unaliving somebody else? Why? Why would you want to be that person? Why would you want to be around people like that? Could not, would not ever be me. And the fact that some of you guys are like that, y'all are going to the deepest part of hell. The deepest part. Simple, right? Get angry, get tired, get scared, get emotional. Somebody needs to stop this. This is ridiculous at this point. This is just honest to God. Like, I couldn't begin to explain to you how terrifying, just like I am so scared for my family that lives in Patterson, and in the area where my family lives in, it's not bad at all, like compared to the rest of it. But God forbid they're like walking to, one of the worst areas to work or to the store, or they stop somewhere, like, and just something pops off. Like, that to me is just like the scariest thing. Like, I've just heard so many things, so many stories. My friends, for no apparent reason, my friends' kids, like one of my ex co-workers' daughter, and everybody knows who this is, but I'm not going to mention her name. The little girl was walking to the store, crossing the street from her home, and she got hit with the stray. Like, how is that not crazy to anybody? Okay? Like, one of my other childhood friends unalived himself by, hitting himself with one. Like, it's just, one of them, I saw the video. I'm just so traumatized that I don't even know if I can cry anymore about it. Like, and I'm emotional. But like, at this point, to me, and I had this conversation a couple months ago with my coworkers, I'm just so used to it. Like, I'm numb. Like, in my head, I'm like, who's next? Who's next? If it's not somebody else that I know, could be me, could be my family. Like, that's just such a scare. Like, I pray to God every single day that it never touches that close to home, for nobody else's, like, reason. Like, I don't want it to be the fault of anybody else. Like, if it's gonna come naturally, then come naturally. But don't let me find out it's somebody else. I don't know. You know what? Mum's the word, okay? I pray for everybody's peace. I pray for everybody's safety. I pray for everybody's, well-being. I don't want anybody to go any type of way. Why is it so hard for all of us to get along? Honestly, if this town, if this state, if this city, if all of this stuff is just getting too hard for you to handle, leave. I'd rather look like I'd rather take an L. Okay? I'd rather take an L than lose my life. And it's so messed up because I feel like everybody just needs to change most people need to change that, like their mentality to that. Take the L, keep your life. That's the win. You're still winning, even if you take an L. Like, you want to fight, you want to duke it out, you want to whatever, and I mean genuinely, right? Like, you literally are like, you know what? It's one-on-one. We're gonna go. There's a lot of girls that I know that they play with pieces, but majority of the women that I know, the girls that get it, right? That they be going ham, like, right? That's by hand, right? And we have access to tools just as much as you guys. And if anything, they don't really check us the same way they check you guys, right? We have to wait for a woman cop or all of this stuff. Not really. We don't really have to wait for a woman cop by law, just so you guys know. As long as they pat us this way, right? This way. No fingers, right? But we just, you get it, you duke it out. Why can't you guys do that? Why can't you guys just hear something and keep it pushing? Why can't you guys just mind your business? Why do you guys have to call your brothers every time a man like, bro, just don't put yourself in positions. Don't, surround yourself around certain things. Don't be in certain situations. Like, it's just really not that hard. Like, it's really not that hard. And the fact that, like, I'm angry right now about it at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday before, like, it's literally been eating at me for days, because it's just so overwhelming. It's like you just start to lose a little sense of reality. Like that's just crazy. Like, are you guys not scared? Like, I can imagine going to war, right? Like, you sign up for the war and stuff. And I have a couple of friends who are at war, like, who went. And, like, one of my friends, she told me, like, her biggest fear is getting called and not coming home to see her kid, right? And she's fighting for this country. She's legally allowed to pop one, right? And she doesn't want to take the life of anyone else, but she knows that it's part of her job, that it's, part of the protection for the United States, and like, neither here nor there, but it's kind of like, that's an actual war. Okay, the mini little battles that you guys have, that you guys are just taking one another, like, that's great. Like, I heard about the kid who, may God protect him and God rest his soul, was on Pennington, and he got touched 16 times, and that wasn't even the amount that was around. Like 16 times or something like that. Like, don't quote me, because I'm, like, really not sure, but this is, like, 16 times is crazy. 16? And those weren't even all of them. Like, you know how evil you have to be to want to hurt somebody that bad, that you think that the first couple didn't do enough justice, so you had to do it over 20 times, and 16 of them landed on his own block, where he probably, I think he had a kid or something. I don't even know. Maybe he lived on that. I don't even know the logistics of the whole thing. But, like, just imagine that little girl said goodbye to her dad that day, and she wasn't able to say hi or good night or anything. Like, that's terrible. And I could never send enough condolences, because I can't even say, oh my God, I can only imagine how you feel, because I could not imagine how you feel. It's so sad. And somebody went home thinking that it's fine. And now you guys are pressuring the police to find an answer or find this person or find these people, right? Because it's been happening all over. It's not just the one on Pennington. It's been happening all over, and you guys are like coming at these people all crazy, at these cops, and they're just trying. Like, imagine, do you know how many cops Patterson has? Right? So let's just generalize it, and let's say Patterson has 100 cops, right? Let's just say, I don't know the exact number. I know it's over 100, but let's just say, right? So if it's 5 cops per case, and there's 100, right? Now imagine people getting shot or DVs or, you know, car accidents or whatever, just anything all over, right? And it's 2 cops here, 5 cops here, 6 cops here, 1 cop here, or whatever. Then you get a ticket, you get pulled over, and then somebody's chasing, and then, right? All these cops are busy. Now imagine 5 cops, 6 cops per unaliving, and you have them like 6 or 7 times in 1 week or in a month, and they're trying to figure that out, the first one out, and then the second one, and then the third one, and then you're not getting an answer right away. And the reason why you're not getting an answer is because they never have a break. They're never able to sit there and actually work on what needs to be worked on, because they are too busy figuring out the first 2 or 3 or 4, right? And then you have a domestic violence, which I heard takes way longer than normal, okay? Because, you know, you can say, oh, I'm okay or whatever, and God forbid something happens to the victim in that case, or not the victim, they have to sit there and do that, right? And then there's a car accident, and you're like, oh my God, why are the cops taking so long for car accidents? And it's because they're stuck at a DV, or they're stuck trying to figure out why somebody got unalived on one of the blocks. And then, you know, I don't know. So it's not just, like, everybody just needs to just chill the hell out, stay in the house, like, let people do their job, stop trying to be God. Okay, if you're going to go to City Hall and, you know, drive the mayor crazy or whatever, do it for a good reason. Don't sit there and give him an issue about potholes and about, you know, dumb stuff. Okay, go there with intention. Like, know what you're going to talk about. Write down your points, grab your little index cards, grab whatever. They give you your 2 minutes, make the 2 minutes worth it, you know. But get angry. Try to figure out a solution, because I promise you, you might not care today, but tomorrow if it happens to you, you're going to care, and you're going to want that support from your community. Okay? And it's until somebody gets angry enough to change something, okay? We're just going to keep living the same cycle. Personally, do not expect me anywhere near there. Okay, do not expect my child. Do not expect to see my immediate family out there. None of that. None of that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we all need to pray, because I promise you, life is lifing for everybody, and I just, honest to God, I do not have enough words to describe how just sad and heartbroken I am for my city, like for my town. I'm like deeply saddened by how unserious we take what's going on. Like, genuinely, all together, like, everybody just needs to band together and just decide to stop. Like, when, like, honest, when is enough enough? When it happens to you, when it happens to your neighbor, when it happens to them, when it happens to their neighbor. Like, when is enough enough? When is you being so tired, or you being so angry, or you being so sad worth just stopping? Like, I know there's people out there that are probably like, shut up. We know this. Like, we don't want to hear this, right? But, like, I'm one of those angry people. I moved for safety. I moved for a better opportunity for my child. That doesn't take away from how bad I want my town to be okay. Okay? That doesn't take away from how safe I want people to be. It doesn't take away from how well I want the community to work with the police. I am pro-cop. I do not care how people feel. I've had this discussion with many people. You know, I've been put in situations where if it wasn't for a cop, I don't know where I would be in my life, to be honest. I don't know if that's the reason. Maybe I am pro-cop. Maybe I'm pro-cop because I do understand that people are trying to do their job. I couldn't imagine being a cop and pulling up to a scene where, at this point, where everybody is just carrying all willy-nilly. You don't know if you're coming home to see your children. You went to work to protect and serve, and you do not know if you're coming. Look at that cop from Newark, a 14-year-old. And y'all have the audacity to sit here and tell me, oh, you know, he free him. No, free nothing, bro. I understand that he is a child, but I also understand that he made an adult decision. In the court of law, once you are over the age of 8 or 9, you are able to testify in court. That means that here, you are able to know what's right or wrong. They pulled you over and you started doing all that extra stuff, and I understand maybe you were scared. I understand maybe you didn't know how to react or whatever. But what happened ultimately was a officer was killed in the line of duty, okay, by a child. So it's you know, it's hard on both ends, and it all could have been avoided if this wasn't such a normal thing. If this wasn't such a regular day in the life of Newark, Patterson, Trenton, Camden, East Orange, I mean, not East Orange, I don't know, any of the oranges. Like, if this wasn't such a normal thing, it wouldn't have happened. If somebody would have stopped and intervened and talked, it wouldn't have happened. If somebody would have stood up and said enough is enough, it would not have happened. I'm saying enough is enough for me. Enough is enough. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to be around that type of situation. I don't want to put my family or my friends around that. Enough is enough. Like, when do we get tired, people? When do you get angry? When do you stand up for what's actually right? Instead of complaining about stuff that you cannot control, why don't you stand up and defend your own the right way? Defend your territory the right way. Why is it always, you know, a gun that has to solve the issue? Why is it, oh, I'm better than you or better than who's to say what block is better? First of all, let me tell y'all something. No block in Patterson is better than another block. They're all run down. They all have potholes. They all got that I don't even remember his name, who's literally taking every freaking corner on the street with these giant, cheap ass, made, expensively paying apartments, okay? It's still like gentrification all over, okay? It's still, prices are rising up. There's no parking. You get me? Schools are like little to nothing, okay? Every hood, every block, every corner, every street has the same story as the other fucking corner, as the other freaking street, as the other. When is enough? Bro, y'all are not better than one another. I am so sorry to burst your bubble. One boulevard is not better than the other boulevard. One Ave is not better than the other Ave. I am sorry. Like, who cares? Who cares if you're Hispanic? Who cares if you're African American? Who cares if you're white? Who cares? We live in a generation, like, we really don't care. Like, we really don't care. Like, what are y'all fighting about? I understand that stuff could have happened before, and you guys are just trying to get one up on each other. Ooh, they hurt me. They keep hurting me. We just gonna keep going back and forth, right? But what is that solving? Until it happens to you. Because I promise you, you are not God. You are not invincible. You are not, you're next. And I'm so sorry to say that. Like, and I wish everybody protection and love and God's grace. And may God cover every single one of you and every drop of blood that he has. But if you think that you're not next, that's the part where you're sadly mistaken. That's the part where you think that you're some sort of Superman and nobody got kryptonite. Like, get it together, people. Honestly, I don't know if this is gonna make a difference. Okay, this is not a PSA. This is not a whatever. This is just me talking to my people. Okay, my people that hopefully understand. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna change anyone's life. I don't know. I'm just venting. Okay, and I'm pleading that maybe it changes one person's mind and keeps one other person alive. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hopeful that way. Maybe I'm dumb that way. I really don't know. What I do know is that this is the sad reality of the world we're living in. Okay, and again, if it's not you, it could be somebody you love. You could be next, God forbid. And you just have to decide when enough is enough for you. Like, do you want your children to grow up viewing this, being around this is their environment, potentially turning out to be these people? Because environment has a lot to do with how people, grow up and how they turn out. And that's reality. So, I think there's a lot of things that we have to, take into account. You guys do have to understand that things only change when we decide to change within ourselves. You get me? If you decide to say, yo, I'm done, then you are done. And there's different ways of getting out of situations and being protected. I'm not saying be a mark. I'm not saying be a, go snitch on people. I'm not, you get me? Because the hood in me still has rules and regulations and boundaries. What I'm saying is, once you're in a certain lifestyle, it's not the easiest thing to get out of, right? I've heard there's two ways you get out, right? You either get locked up or you get put in a box, right? And I don't want that for anybody. So even if this comes around 13-year-old's page or a 14-year-old's page. And this is for women too. This is for women too. This is for girls too. I've seen some crazy ghetto ratchet, hood survival stories. Okay? This is not just for men. Okay? It's just sad that most of our men are the ones doing a lot of it, but I've seen women do stuff too. And I just hope that somehow this all comes to pass and we just stop experiencing so many deaths and we stop experiencing so much heartbreak and sadness. And yeah, and I just had to let that out. I am so sorry if that was a lot. I'm so sorry if that was just too much. Thank you everybody for listening. Again, just check on one another, check on our mental health, check on your friends, check on your family. Be there, support one another. Remember that you can walk away and that you can say no. You do ultimately make the decisions for yourself. Beige does not look good on everybody. Okay? Jails are not what they look like in the movies. Okay? It's not, orange is the new black. It doesn't really work like that. I do hope and pray that God gives us mercy. And I love you all so much. And thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for my second episode for Drea Talks.